that awkward moment where I do purpose. I just stare at the camera for 5 to see anybody else gets freaked out by are we starting or not. So, hey, what say we start? EP!
Right now.
It was 105 in London this week. That's like 9 Celsius or something. Gareth Bale is in Los Angeles. Wayne Rooney is in Washington, D.C. Cristiano Ronaldo wants out of Manchester United and that weird Portuguese airport as well. The World Cup is in December. Wimbledon is over. The Open Championship is over. Bex is photographed in a Speedo while Posh wears an ankle-length dress. And just like that, England is back. This to God strong in me. My name is Matt Stevenson. For some of you here, hopefully by now, you know me from the PM73 media, all of these weird things that we do, perhaps previously from the Insecurity podcast, or maybe I'm the guy who always figures out a way to shoehorn in a quote from a Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels when we're talking about, I don't know, anything. And if you don't know him already, shame on you because he's awesome. My man to my right, I actually got it right this time, even though I have to use my left hand, Edward Preston, EP. Tell the people who you are.
Hello, Mr. Stevenson, and hello, world. Pleasure to share the airwaves with you all today. I am the modern-day Billy the Kid. I can make you famous, rich and famous, and secure. I'm actively helping a cybersecurity firm out there called Silver Sky, the best evolved, fully managed solution out there. I'm also the former host of a nice podcast that Matt helped me out with called Dirty Security, but now in production, I've got Epic Starts that will drop in the fall. And in my free time, I needlepoint, crochet, and teach people how to be quant traders.
That is I think, maybe the rarest of Venn diagram intersections. But for all the men looking for a crochet Speedo, EP is your guy. Make sure you're out at Epic Start EP. All right. You know I'm excited about this because it is the return of Limited Fake Accent Theater. We took a week off, but this one's just too good. So sit back, tune into Nick Knight. For those of you not born in the 70s, bear with me. This will bear fruit. This is my boss, Jonathan Hart, a self-made millionaire. He's quite a guy. This is Mrs. H. She's gorgeous. She's one lady who knows how to take care of herself. By the way, my name is Max. I take care of both of them, which ain't easy because when they met, it was moida. Yes, it's a bit dated and incredibly problematic. So, let's say we update that a bit. These are the Cygenta founders. Freaky clown breaks into banks. He's quite a guy. This is Dr. Jessica Barker. She's brilliant. One lady who knows how to convince you to do something you probably shouldn't. By the way, my name is Matt. I unashamedly shill for both of them because when they met, the world got safer. Roll opening credits for the greatest TV show never made, Barker to Clown. If you don't know Heart to Heart, I can't help you. You're going to have to look it up. Just Google it. It's all over YouTube. It's all of the things. And yes, dude, what the hell are you talking about? We are psyched. Our first tag team guest, Dr. Jessica Barker and Freaky Clown to PM73 Media on LinkedIn Live. Dr. Jessica Barker is a co-founder and co-CEO of Cygenta. She is the author of Confident Security, delivered the keynote at RSA 2020, an entrepreneur named one of the top 20 most influential women in cybersecurity in the UK and UK's Tech Women 50. Freaky Clown is married to her. What happened there? No, seriously. He
where's the love? Where's the heart?
FC is a well-known ethical hacker and social engineer who has been working in InfoSec for over 20 years. His mad skills primarily at circumventing access controls and has been a senior penetration tester and head of social engineering and physical assessments for some of the biggest pen testing companies in the world. True story. Our man's been breaking into banks for over 20 years. We'll get to that. Jess, FC, welcome to PM73 Media on LinkedIn Live.
Well, what a welcome.
Yeah, what
Thank
a welcome.
you.
Thank you so much. Heart to Heart, great show. Loved it as a kid.
I do think
Before my
we're going to
time,
pitch this.
I'm sorry.
We're going to South by Southwest and we're going to do actually like a live play version of what Barker to Clown would look like, where I'm Max, EP's the villain, and you guys are the heroes saving the day. But all the while, like flirting and quipping at each other throughout the show.
Oh,
That'd be great.
Oh,
I think it could work. Yeah, we're gonna
Why
workshop.
do I got to be the villain? Why do I got to be the villain?
definitely.
I guess somebody's got to be the bad guy. I'm trying to
Have
stop
you
the
met
bad guy.
Villain is always the best.
The villain's always British though, so
Oh
That's true.
yeah, are we the baddies?
The baddies. I love
Okay.
it.
Yeah, EP's part will be played by Mark Strong because he has to play every villain.
yeah.
Love Mark
I do want to
Strong.
open with this. Hello, Dave. We'll get you on the show soon enough, I promise. Let's talk about Cygenta because I feel like the umbrella of the organization that you have built and what your team does is it just looms so large on everything that we want to talk about. So your team, it feels like, does things that are normally reserved for either great movies or terrible TV shows. So for those of the American audience who may not be well versed in Cygenta, what is this monster that you have created?
Well, I'll let you try and explain it then.
So we set up Cygenta essentially because we were frustrated with what we saw happening out there. So I come from the human side of security, focusing on awareness, behavior, and culture, and I have been. It's been my mission for the last 10 years or so to shine a light on the human side of cybersecurity. And FC comes obviously from the technical and the physical sides with social engineering and ethical. And we were always conversations of like people on the technical side weren't thinking about the human side. People on the human side weren't thinking so much about the technical side. Nobody was thinking about the physical side. So eventually we were like, let's stop complaining about it and set a business. And that is where Cygenta came from. So we do all sorts of things from technical assessment, physical assessments, cybersecurity culture assessments, awareness raising that includes lots of hacking demos.
Yeah, and we kind of approach it understanding the other sides of all of that security, which is where our USP. Loads of people can do one part of it really well, but no one's really doing it from all sides at all times. So it's not even holistic. It's kind of just having an idea of these other areas.
Other areas, I mean, we forgive that technical jargon, but so I feel like a really important question before we get to the really important questions. Has there ever been a time when both of you have operated on the same keyboard saying, we're being hacked, it's a rat? That's a shout out to NCIS.
You mean apart from right now?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you
question two,
if
do you ever
mean
not
that,
appear
then
on
we've
the
been on
camera
the same
together?
internet. Yes, we appear singularly on our YouTube channels that we've both launched separate.
Look at that, jumping right into ahead of time shameless plugs. Let's get it out there. Where is that YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Ooh.
On
YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube.
On YouTube.
I've only just
and the channel is.
There we
We're
go.
on TV. We're just on TV. What channel?
Mine is Mr. Freaky Clown.
Yeah, you're Mr. Freaky Clown, and I'm Dr.
Mr.
Jessica Barker.
Original names.
Yeah, original
How about that?
branding there for me.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of branding, the website is awesome. I love your guys' site, and it would go back to that cultural cyber. You said something about the testing, the assessment of the culture or within the cybersecurity. Can you go into that in more detail?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite questions, EP. So thank you. So yeah, we've developed over many years. We've developed our own definition of security culture and more security culture that is based on our experience. It's based on academic work. It is based on not just security culture and models of security culture, but models of organizational culture. So the way the security culture is by assessing obviously awareness and behavior, but really they tell you the what of security culture. So we dig into the why by also assessing perceptions and values. So essentially, we're looking at how do people feel about security? How do people perceive themselves? Do they feel that they're capable? Are they confident? What do they think about the approach of management? Do they think it's a priority? Do they perceive that there's a blame culture, that if they report an incident, that they're going to be scapegoat, or that it is actually going to be a good thing to do? And what are the values? Does the organization have values that promote a positive and proactive security culture? Or is everything between the lines actually saying, yeah, on paper we say we value security, but in practice, productivity is more important? So we basically, a cybersecurity culture assessment is about listening to people in all areas of a business at all different levels and pulling out not just blockers, not just what's going wrong, but really why, what's underlying all of the stuff.
So Jess, is it fair to, I'm sorry, Dr. Jess, is it fair to say,
Please,
that,
Jess.
Is it fair to say that you guys provide a certain conduit at the executive layer to get all the non-believers to believe that this is or needs to be a priority to move their business and fill their gaps?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think that the key thing there is whether it's technical, physical, or digital, we kind of come in and show the dissonance between what the C-suite are thinking everything is happening and what's actually happening.
And when it comes to culture and awareness and behavior, what we really look to do is bring security and the rest of the organization closer together. And often that's about listening to I mean, I don't want to say both sides as if they're on different sides, but in a lot of organizations, they are. So it's about listening to the different stakeholders, the different parties, and kind of being that translator and being almost that. Actually, so as part of our culture assessment, we hold a lot of focus groups, and that is about the team at Cygenta having these questions, but really listening to what people are saying about security. We don't have anyone from the internal security teams there. We take those results, put them back into our findings. Any of those focus groups, it ends with people in the business who don't think about security that much necessarily, certainly probably don't talk about it that much, but they end those sessions by saying, this felt like a therapy session, like this felt like counseling, because everything about security that has been annoying me, I've been able to get off my chest, and you've listened.
Yeah, you just drop it all right there. All right, I'm going to give a quick apologies to the audience. Apparently, we were having some audio issues, so I'm going to do this right here live on international streaming internet television. Do I sound better?
You know, it's like a little chopsticks. You got like it's just a little. You got a little chop going in there.
I'm going to blame England for all of this.
Yes, blame it on the heat.
Yes.
Blame it on the Piccadilly.
So, Justin, I've seen when you come in prospective client, like, what's your preference? Who would you prefer to sit down with first? Do you want to start with the security team, with the CISO itself, or we start at the top with the leadership team, or something else?
Well, I think it's always we sit down with the decision makers first before we even get into the company. You know, we're brought into many companies through word of mouth because people have worked with us, they love what we do, and they just want into whatever they're doing. So it's generally at the C-suite level, I'd say, we sort of come in at. It's
usually the CISO, really, and then they will kind of bring us in. Sometimes it does work differently. Like sometimes it might be a head of pen testing that knows you. Yeah. And so we'll start that conversation. Sometimes it's a head of culture or head of awareness that has worked with in one capacity. And then often what can happen is they might bring us in to do something on the technical side. And then they'll realize, oh, actually, maybe we should be doing something on the physical side, or we should be doing something on the human side, or some human side and move across. But every client is different. And that's partly what we really love about it. Yeah.
How do you get them to lean in? I mean, you know, aside from word of mouth, you know, emotion creates motion. So when you talk about what services that you provide, and let's go back to that conduit, I love this because Matt and I were just talking about this literally earlier in the week about, you know, a new superhero, so a new person, a new role that really needs to rise up that can go all the way to the board level to help these larger companies make decisions to move, to create motion that they need to get themselves better secured. And it seems like you guys bring that, but what are the tactics or the strategy, the words. Maybe it's testimonials that you're bringing to get the client to lean in with, oh, wow, tell me more about that.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. One is the testimonials. You go to the site, you look at our testimonials, who we work with, they're massive names. I mean, we've just announced that we helped out Riot Games, like the makers of League of Legends, do make some of their premises more with their physical security, and we've been working with them for quite a while on that. So some of the names on our, which does surprise us sometimes. We still feel quite small, but we're obviously punching well above our weight, as I am in life as well.
He's got to say that. He's got to say that, right? No, but we're a small team with big clients. I think, you're so right when you talk about emotion. I think that actually helps us, that we know our clients know us. They know that when they come to Cygenta, they know who they're working with.
Yeah.
And they know that we will often have either delivered in the past, or we'll have delivered for someone they know, or we'll have delivered they respect or they see as a competitor, or that they want to emulate. So I think it really helps us that we have that person to person kind of relationship with all of our clients. And then we're lucky that our clients are really nice. We work with really, really nice people.
So they know they're getting no clowns. No
Wow.
clowns. They're getting the clown with the right prescription from the doctor. Yeah.
Both of you are.
Oh, we're so using that quote.
Both of you are
got a
high
lot more.
profile. So when we talk about how do you get in the door, whether it's just you have authored one on your own, co-authored another FC, you've got a book that's coming this spring. You both have keynoted. You have done a lot of media around the UK and Europe. Do you prefer Cygenta being the lead, or it's because people know either one of you, or anything to get in the door?
Great question.
Yeah, I think it's because people come to us for us.
Yeah.
Right. Cygenta's a nice way to print the invoices.
If I didn't say so, my own damn self. People come to Dr.
phenomenal work. They don't come to Cygenta because, they come to Cygenta because she works here, but they know they're going to get to work with her, not some junior.
Not that juniors aren't great.
Yeah.
And that's it. We for a while we sort of felt like, was that wrong? Should we be building up name, the brand of the business? And then we realized that the name Cygenta, of course, it's linked to us, but really it's because of us and our work before Cygenta that we founded Cygenta.
Yeah.
And ultimately we understand that it is usually our profile, usually our reputation. It is the work that we have delivered that bring clients to us, and we're really, really happy with that.
Yeah.
And we have a plan to make Cygenta a super big team. We've thought about whether we should go down that route, but we want to keep the close relationship we have with our clients. We like to be small. So it's working.
Yeah.
It's working for us, working for clients. So we're pretty happy with it.
How old is your company?
5, 6 years.
5, 6 years. Yeah, I can't remember.
You guys are right at the edge of getting through the miserable facts that are against you in the startup world. So you guys are obviously doing something right. Good job. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
So the talent that you have put together, and your 3 pillars of approach, the human, the technical, and the physical, how rare is that? Because the first time that we met, I just remember thinking, this is the coolest thing ever. Did you guys ever see sneakers? And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, there's probably maybe another company or two that have done something like that. Is this something that is proliferating? Because you have, and again, I get you here. I promise it's coming someday. But you have this really interesting, it's almost like Avengers Assemble kind of thing, but you want to keep the team small. Do you into other people? You're coming in for your 12:30 meeting. Is there somebody walking out where you're like, oh yeah, Mark, Alice, good to see you again? And do you have a nemesis, I guess, for maybe a lack of a better term? You don't have to name them, but are there other ones that do what you do? The Justice League and the Avengers kind of thing.
There's loads of awesome companies in
Yeah.
security, and there's people doing great pen test stuff, both physical and technical. There's people doing great stuff in awareness, behavior, and culture. We're not alone in that. There's not many the three areas, but kind of even beyond that, I think we don't really see it. Obviously there are competitors. There's always competitors. That's the market we work and live in. But we kind of take the Jimmy Iovine approach, don't we?
I was just about to say,
If
mention
you've
him.
seen the Defiant ones on Netflix, if you haven't seen it,
Watch
people
it.
watching it, awesome. And he kind of says, you have blinkers on and you do the work and you be good at what you do and you stay true to yourself and you deliver. And we're not we don't have time to be looking over our shoulder what other people are doing. Plus, sometimes I think people do into that headspace in security, as in any industry, of the scarcity, of feeling like they have to be competitive. Let's face it, there is more work out there than any of us can do.
Yeah.
So we're like, it's great there's other people doing great work, because that means more companies are being secured, more companies are getting great work done. That's why we're all in this job. So that's better for all of us. And we've got...
Yeah, how do you scale? I mean, how do you go about picking a customer? Is there a unique set of criteria that you already have put together? I mean, you said you're staying small, but how do you scale? How many jobs can you handle at one time with the way that you guys go about it? Do you have anything built in to where some of this is automated and you can take on more jobs? Or is it kind of like, hey, it's heart to heart. We can only drive one car at a time. We can only get on one yacht at a time, and we can only jump out of one plane at a time.
Well, but
did they
my name
jump
is Matt,
Yeah,
and I
I
take
think
care of both of them. So I handle all of that.
Yeah. I think that the key thing there is, we want to stay small and produce the best quality work that we can. So we won't be able to cloning us.
Okay.
It's a bit of both, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we do automate some stuff. Obviously, on the pen testing side, we streamline our services so that we're delivering as efficiently as we can and still give great quality.
Yeah.
But to some extent, we do have where if we're delivering a culture assessment, we're delivering a culture assessment for a client. We'll be doing other stuff as well, but we won't be doing 10 culture assessments at once.
No.
And we know that is partly the value of it, is that we get in deep and we're dedicated. So how do we scale? I mean, we don't. we
work a lot.
We work a lot. We love what we do.
Bingo.
But then we are also moving towards, some of our stuff being scaled. We do a lot of content, awareness raising content. And that moved from a pre-COVID time where that was face-to-face, in person, to over the last couple of years, obviously remote, to doing a lot of kind of packages of stuff. So packages of awareness videos, for example, bite-sized videos. Yeah. So there's some stuff where it
can scale. We scale where we can without losing or sacrificing the quality of the output.
Yeah.
And that also means that it also means that we can pick and choose our clients really carefully. We do say no to some clients because we don't want to work with them, because maybe they come to us and they're like, okay, I need a pen test to this box. And it's like, well, you're not in the right mindset to work with us. So go somewhere else.
Find someone else. Yeah.
To that end, have you, and again, because you are both high profile, which means Cygenta by definition is high profile. Have you ever fired a client?
Ooh.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
we don't have to name names.
Fired is a hard, because we've never done the whole you're fired to a client, but because
it was not you, it's me. Is that what it was?
We've kind of had those conversations of maybe it's it's time
Yeah.
that things move along.
Yeah.
Was that
Exactly.
was
I'm going to college. I'm just looking to do new things. You and I are going in different directions. But
Yeah.
has the check cleared? Yes. Okay. It's been great. Good luck.
I think Dr. Justice gave us her
Oh,
best
yeah,
her best apprentice right there. If anybody caught that, you fired.
Do you notice?
Nice. Yes.
Dad joke number 1. EP gets 2 of those per
Hey,
episode.
I get 2
That's
more.
the first
I'm good
one.
for 3. Good for 3.
The star of Cygenta is trying to join us. The cat. If you can hear the
Oh.
cat, she's very cute to say hello.
What is the cat's name?
Every time we get on a mic,
She's called Bubble.
she's
Bubble.
one half, unfortunately, of a
A pair of
sisters.
sisters.
We need to see the cat.
Called
We
Bubble
need
and-
to see. We need
Yeah.
to see the petting of the
Come
cat,
on,
and you have
Bubble.
to say laser.
She doesn't like being picked up.
Cygenta laser.
Hey.
Oh,
See, this is the thing.
Oh.
They
There
bring
she is.
the human, the technical, the physical, and the feline elements to cybersecurity. Actually, FC, I think that might be something to consider next time. As you're like rolling in at 2:15 in the morning, and you just let a cat loose, and it streaks across the lobby. Security goes after that, and you just casually walk in. And anyway,
Yes, I should try that.
Yeah.
Corralling her is impossible.
so
She is a strong, independent woman. And she will do whatever she wants.
yeah, and Jess is pretty hardcore.
He's still
too.
talking about the cat, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, we made it 27 minutes in before things started to really start to go off the rails. So I feel like that's a record for the show. All right. Have you guys ever gone into, so flip side of firing a client, when you come in and you sit down and again, reputation precedes you, you've got great customer references, and you sit down with the C-suite, you lay out, it's like, here's what we do. This is our preliminary examination of who you are and what we need. And then they look at you and they're just like, get out of here. Like, no, nobody does that. We can't afford that, blah, 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 where they're just like, come on, man. And, how do you deal with that type of thing where you can truly offer, let's look at everything you're doing, and this is the assistance we can provide?
So, has that ever? I mean, they may be behind our backs,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure they've ever said it to our faces.
Yeah. I think that comes back to what I was earlier about how we pick our clients and how we work with clients that are of a certain level that they want our help.
Yeah.
They may not know about all of the services we offer, but they're already at a stage where they're like, actually, we need to do something different to what we've been doing. Either been nothing, or we're just kind of doing the same old thing as everyone else, and it's not working. So they bring us in, and they're already wanting to work with us. And then they're like, oh, actually, I didn't realize you do all this other great stuff involved in that as well. So I don't think that's ever really happened.
I think it's the privileged position of being a small company, is that we don't really pitch for work. It sounds really privileged, but generally how it works is that clients come to us and they know they want us and they know that they have a need. And I'm not saying it's always just like straight ticked off done, but usually they're already kind of warmed up to that.
Yeah.
Well, that's not
You
privilege.
guys are like wolf.
If you kick ass, if you've walked it, you get to talk it, and especially if they're asking you to come in and walk it too. So
Exactly.
Yeah, no complaints. No complaints.
Yeah, it's not
So,
marketing, it's hard work in previous years
Right.
that have allowed us into
Exactly.
that position.
Well, yeah, you've built up a reputation. People are finding you through word of mouth, through whatever means, but just the expression, the sound,
the Insecurity
the
podcast.
passion that somebody's yeah, exactly insecurity. FC, talk to me about look, you're breaking into banks, man. I mean, this is super cool. You're breaking into buildings ethically, but talk to me about the adrenaline factor. Like when you're, I kind of look at like a video game. You got to get through 5 doors. I'm thinking like Ocean's 11. You got to get through all these doors. You have to go through this obstacle course. When does the adrenaline, or when has the adrenaline hit like the FC, on a scale of 1 to 10, it hit a 10. Where you're like, you're feeling your heart, not because you're not going to get thrown in jail for anything. You're all prepared for what to do, what to say, but it's just like you're feeling it, like that bead of sweat, off of Tom Cruise's eyebrow as he's hanging there. Like, give us like a story of when that actually happened, man.
Okay,
I'm
throwing a new piece of swag for you guys.
There's a couple
the
of sizes.
FCometer.
The FCometer, yes. Ooh, that's a great idea.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Great idea. I can't believe you just gave it to the internet.
So there's a couple of things around this. So first of all, over the years, I've kind of, one of the things you can do is prevent that happening during an assessment, right? So you have to stay still, like cool and calm and collected, no matter what is happening around you, right? You have to stay in the moment. There's been many, many times where at the end of the day, during the wash-up meeting, then it all hits. It's like a car crash and just like sweating everywhere. I look disheveled and people are like, this guy got into our bank. He looks like and it's like, yeah, no, but no. I look really bad. Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. So just loads of sweat. It always comes out after the fact. During the assessments, you keep it in control. But there have been some very interesting moments, like sort of people with guns where you've only got a letter to protect you and you can't speak their language. And you're like, wow, how are we going to get around this? Oh. Or there was one instance I got asked to break into this bank. And it was very short notice. We didn't have a lot of time to do recon because I was on another job. I asked a sales guy who was working with at the time to go in, and when he left, get me a badge, right? Just go to the toilets, take a photograph of the badge so that I can mock up a fake one afterwards. Cut to about a month later, the job is happening. I've got my fake badge. I walk into the lobby, and there's a receptionist. There's some turnstiles with a security guard. So I clip my fake badge onto my the side that's opposite from the security guard, and I walk up to it, and he's like, "Oh, excuse me, sir, can I see your badge?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and I kind of like hide it, half show it, and he's like, "I can't let you in, not with that badge." And I'm like, "What's the matter?" It's like, "Wow, I've been coming in on this badge for weeks," and he's like, "I don't think so." It's then that I noticed that they had entirely rebranded their company in the month between getting the badge photo and me coming in.
Oh,
so
wow.
At this point, I am inside,
conflict,
falling apart. Right, so I try and keep a calm exterior. And I say to him, "So if I get badge changed, you'll be in?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I turn around and I grab the badge and I slam it on the receptionist desk and said, "He said I need a new badge. Give me a new badge." And she just printed me a new badge. And so I showed the guy the badge. I'm like, "There you go, that's my badge." And he let me in.
Oh my gosh.
From in front of the receptionist.
Like, oh my god.
Suddenly...
Yeah. So it does happen. Awesome. There are some scary moments sometimes.
And have you ever like actually reached the last level of the bank vault? And I picture like the Burger King mascot hanging in there having a burger. Anything weird happen when you finally get into the vault? And there's like, is there gold bars? Is there coins?
It's just the Burger King sitting there eating a Whopper, and you're like, "Oh, come
on." Next time I break into a vault, I'm just leaving a Burger King crown in there. just see that where it's like, swap out the gold bar.
Do me a favor. Crown. Do me a favor and put EP was here. That's all I want you to do.
Yeah. Don't put
weirdly,
please.
Now I'm picturing the Hamburglar.
Hamburglar. Yes, I should dress up.
There's another brand, another swag idea right there. Boom.
No free ads. No free ads. No,
there was one time I got into a trading bank. So they're like the same as the high street banks. These are the ones that actually hold like gold bullion and stuff. And I got into the vault floor. Got there, and it looked exactly like you'd expect a Hollywood bank vault to look, right? They're designed after real vaults, right? So it's big old metal door, the spinny thing on the front. Yeah, it looked pretty cool. And I'm like, well, it's open. Why I left it open? So I walk in, and there's just gold buzz on like crates, right? So I'm like, all right, yoink. I take they're heavier than you expect, right? So
Booyah.
the only film I think that has really shown the weight of them is Die Hard with a Vengeance, when Samuel L. Jackson's got one and he's like lugging it around. They're quite heavy, right?
Brick.
So I managed to get it. Into my backpack, and I walk out the building, and it was to still like I can't even imagine how much it's worth now with inflation. It's crazy. But yeah, so what they were doing, they were moving stuff in and out of the vault, so they'd left the door open, and then something had happened near the loading bay, so they had all congregated there and just left the bank vault open.
Oh my
and
gosh.
at precisely the time that I just wandered along.
There's your FDIC. Was that an American bank? Can you say the country?
It's an international bank.
It was Tanzania.
Okay.
Why do I just picture in the movie version of this, there's Angel Jess on one shoulder saying, "No, FC, you're an ethical hacker," and then on the other side, it's like, "This would get off flat in London. You should do that."
For the record, I did give it back to them. I went to a nearby sort of cafe and called my client. I was like, "You really need to come and collect this," and he's like, "What?" So I sent him a photo of like the gold bar, and he's like, "Oh, crap."
I bet he didn't say crap.
No.
Oh my gosh.
That's all right. You can say shit. This is an adult show. It's fun.
Yeah.
Let's not sleep on the
I
fact
doubt
that you're
if he said shit.
okay. We've done 2 of those per episode the last couple of weeks. You could drop up to 2, and I think that we're good with the FCC. But let's not sleep on the fact that you are now walking down the street with a gold fucking bar in your backpack.
Oh, I've had worse. There was once I broke into a government building, and I got into the loading.
Can you explain why you just made that face first before we even got to the story?
Because I know what's coming. I know what's coming, right?
Oh, gotta hear this. Sit close, boys and girls.
So I get into this government building, which should be very well protected. I mean, this is a site that has a police station on site, right? So this rapid response is right there. So I break into this government department. I get into this building and find in one sort of area where they put all of the top secret documents that need to be destroyed, right? So they're going off to be shredded elsewhere on the site. So there is a large, I don't know if you have them over there, these massive postal trolleys. They're like 5 foot high on wheels, and it is rammed full of genuine top secret classified folders of stuff. So they're all red folders saying like, this must be destroyed, right? It's paramount that this gets destroyed because we don't need it, right? So I'm wheeling it across the car park, and it's now getting towards the area where the public can kind of interact on the site, right, where the visitors are. And it's at that point I'm like, hang on, this isn't good. I now have all of this top secret data that I'm about to exfiltrate, and anyone could come along and nick it. So I then had to, I obviously took a photo. Then I had to try and break that trolley back into a government site, which was much harder than getting out.
Oh my gosh. Once you got out, now you have to break back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no gust of wind. Harder. It's like, what if like a gust of wind comes and like all these papers are like all over the place?
Yes, that could have been quite bad.
Please, I hope someone is writing all of this stuff down, because we're absolutely making not just the movie, but like the 7 film series Tales from the FC.
I am, Matt. I'm writing all of these anecdotes are going into a book that will be launched next year with Wiley.
Oh God, can Matt and I have a cameo? Just a cameo.
Yeah, I mean,
put us in. I'll try and get you in somehow.
EP, you're going to be played by Michael Pena. FC, you'll be played by Thomas Hardy. Jess, I've actually discussed this, and I'm feeling that Tilda Swinton might be, although she's a little old for it, but we could do that age.
No, the style of Tilda Swinton, and I'm very.
And I will be played by Peter Dinklage.
Perfect.
It's happening. It's totally happening. Which is scarier when you're walking out of these things?
Of Peter Dinklage.
Sorry, Matt?
which is scarier when you're walking out with these things? I mean, it's here's a gold bar, but if somebody comes to try to steal it from you, you can literally hit them with it. Or secret documents that can change the course of human history across geopolitical landscapes.
It will bar because it would take so long to swing it up that they'd just move anyway. At least with a top secret document, you give them a paper cut or something.
EP, I got to tell you, I'm going to be stuck on that image for a long time. Just the backpack that he goes to, just get his credit card out to pay for coffee.
Oh, right. Yeah. Wind tunnel. Yeah, it's like the. Oh, do you guys remember the movie? The Room. What's the room? Jodie Foster. It's an escape room. It's not an escape room. Panic room at the very end.
Oh, Panic Room.
Panic room.
With all the bonds that are all flying in there. That's what I pictured.
That's it. That's the scene. That's the scene in the movie. Yeah.
Now we're rolling into that weird Chris.
Be like a scene from the Crystal Maze where I'm trying to grab all the papers.
Does the Crystal Maze translate out of the UK? I'm not sure.
Let's flip this in the other direction. You guys ever just get beat?
In terms of social engineering,
no, and it's so that's kind of one of the reasons we do things differently, right? So, well, it kind of sounds really braggish, but almost several decades now, right? Coming up to like 26 years or something. I've never not got in somewhere.
Wow.
Now, maybe I'm really, really, really good at my job, or maybe there's always a way in, right? There's always going to be some way that you can compromise a building because people have to get out of those buildings. And if people have to get in and out of those buildings, it's kind of like any security, there has to be a way that you can circumvent it. So we kind of step back a little bit from social engineering assessments at Cygenta. We do physical assessments, which is whereas if you came to us and said, can you do a social engineering assessment against us? I will probably say no, unless you really, really want it. Because what we're going to do is we're going to find that we'll spend a couple of days doing reconnaissance. We'll find a weak spot. We'll go in and we'll through that weak spot, right? And we'll then we write a report saying we got in through this door or this open window. That doesn't give you, as a client, much in the way of value, right? All you've done is you found one weak spot and you've told about it. So what we do as a assessment, which is what we did with Riot Games, is we go in and we work with the client on that they have, right? So we walk around with them and say, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. So you get a massive report of all of the things that are wrong with your building or your site for the same cost as doing a social engineering assessment.
So find that when you look at Venn diagram of the three pillars of what you propose to customers, that there are a combination of two that either work better or that work worse, more worser. How can I destroy my beloved English language any more than that? Like
worse.
Back rank the order that you can combine.
What was your degree in that?
Sorry,
journalism.
They all not all of us have PhDs. I'm sorry.
So I think even when we go in with just one of the vertical columns, we're always thinking about the others. So even though I don't really do a lot of the human stuff, I'm thinking like how Jess would approach as well. And I'm sure it's the same when Jess does stuff, she thinks about the technical sides and the physicals as well.
Yeah, it's like when we do awareness raising. Obviously come at that thinking very much about lots of human beings of what messages we need to be sharing, how best to shape those. But then a part of that, it's kind of thinking we're dealing with a deep technical field. So how do we translate those technical messages and how do we bring it to life? So we can talk about the threats, we can talk about phishing, we can talk about ransomware, we can talk about the vulnerability of passwords. But because we're also coming from that technical side, it's like, okay, how can we demonstrate this in a way that people will see it, but not overload them with jargon and with technical details that they don't need to know about. So kind of bringing in those hacking demonstrations, but translating them with a very human lens. So it really lends itself nicely that we can look at these three issues together in harmony, even if we're majoring on one at a certain time.
What would you guys say is the biggest trend that is happening right now that you guys are like 100% behind, big fans of, trying to get out there and promote? Obviously, it has something to do with your cause, what you're bringing to be that conduit, and or the flip side. Like, what's the biggest, ugliest trend that you guys, with the knowledge you have, the experience you have, want to get that out on a forum right here to let all the security leaders that like hit them between the eyes that they really need to start doing something like your climate change over there in London with the seat? Like, what is it?
Mine is two sides of the same coin, actually. I start with the thing that it's like the really ugly side of it, which is long established like narrative we have had in security that essentially are the problem. Users are the weakest link. Like, this has been something that I just feel like I'm a broken record in saying for many, many years that we have to stop treating people like the problem. We are for the sake of the technology. And we're all people. You know, we talk about users as if users are somehow different to us. We're all users of technology. So that kind of trend of kind of blaming people and victim blaming is something that I think is pretty ugly about our industry. On the flip side, I think in the last couple of years, we have made more progress on that than ever before. And we are seeing more and more people like really campaigning to take a more people-centric approach. And we're seeing more and more organizations being really on board. And that is a great thing that is going to grow. And we're going to look back at the time when we called people the weakest link. We're going to find that unbelievable that we were so disrespectful about people. And I can't wait for us to get to that point.
Can I just say, the only reason that there's loads of companies that are now looking at it this way, loads of people that are really pushing this message, is because you have been saying it for 10 years.
Not the only reason.
Yeah,
there are other people.
it's a big reason though. Like, you've been banging on about it for a while.
I have been banging on about it. You have to listen to me bang on about it all the time. But yeah, when I've back from organizations that they have their approach, from hearing you talk about this need for a more positive security culture, like that's the best feedback that I can get.
I hear you loud and clear. I love it.
Worst trend ever is that they started electrifying locks. Every one of them's like, damn it, man, come on.
So you want mine? Oh my god, a good thing in our industry.
Well,
What's a good
let me
thing in
say
our
this
industry?
first before I forget.
The good thing is my
it comes out of the joke.
Sorry?
But is there something stupid that ever happened when you were going in there, like literally like shocking yourself in a door handle that just like and it just blew up your plan to get in there? Or are you that planned out when you're going in there? It's like, you know what, we're good.
No, I think it only ever shocks me that people don't secure stuff they should. So it's going up to a door that you think should be locked, and you open it and you're like, oh, what are you doing? Like I've walked into banks and like the ATMs have been completely open and left unattended, and you can just do whatever you want with it, and it's just like, why are you? Do you even understand security and why it matters?
The gold bar and the open vault. Yeah, I guess we answered that question already.
Carpets are.
I'm waiting for FC to drop a bloody hell. Oh, bloody hell! The door is open. What is going on here?
Yes. That's FC's biggest complaint. He just walks in and it's all just right there. He's like, really? I've taken 8 years of karate and I could just walk in and just like take the papers off the desk. I mean, come on, man.
So FC, you probably don't know this, but when the NFL kicks into prime season before the games, and Matt can tell me who the guy is. I think it's Keyshawn Jackson. They do this thing called "Come on, man." Like, really? And so I could see FC coming up with his own. Come on, man! Like really, the door wide open to the bouillon.
Hey, trust me, we're developing several things for the Barker Clown household inside the PM73 Media umbrella. We got a lot of irons and a lot of fires.
There was once I broke into it was a UK government site that was particularly secure. They had a flat roof at the back of their building that you could climb up the old Victorian metal drain pipes, right? So not the plastic ones. So I climbed up onto there and then found that the windows were secured with string. And I kid you not, they were literally they didn't have window locks on. They just had string tied around them.
Oh my God. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. Or the one time when I found a cabinet full of network equipment that was sellotaped shut because the lock didn't work. It's
I'm
sometimes.
picturing you wearing like a bowler hat and a tweed suit while you're doing this invasion because that's the level of security they had in place. Come on, what is happening here?
It depends where we're breaking into, what we're wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you've got to
we once broke into we once broke into a hospital. We're doing a job for a hospital, physical assessment for it, and we got scrubs and dressed up as and doctors and well, you're a real doctor, so
yeah, but not a real doctor. Okay. I'm not a doctor that wears scrubs.
Yeah.
Well,
so we wore scrubs and that got a lot
so you're a real doctor. So yeah, okay, not a real doctor.
Yeah.
Don't come to me with a heart attack or like a rash you want me to look at or anything like that. I'm not getting help.
Don't call Jess for a 911.
Dear listeners, do not contact Jessica Barker if you have a rash. She has made that perfectly clear right now. Just took a turn. All right, one last question before we move into the next thing. And tell me if this is indelicate. What's it like being married and co-founders of a company, and corporations looking to you, as a unit, but then also separately, given that you have very divergent layers of expertise? That dynamic is amazing. So you've got 2.5 minutes to go ahead and explain that. Should be fine.
I think the first thing is a lot of people don't realize we're married at first.
That's weird. That's
really
weird.
Like we talk about it a lot, and yet there's still people like, oh my God, you're married? We realized.
Yeah, people who follow us on Twitter, both of us, for years. It goes to show, doesn't it? Like, you're not as important as people think, as you like to think you are to Paul. So, but for us, yeah, we love it. We wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, we met through work, and we all, before we started the company, like always talked about security. Yeah. So that kind of hasn't changed me. Like it has.
There's no boring car journeys, let's put it that way. You can drive for 4 or 5 hours in England, and we'll just talk about business.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And you can also get from one end of the country to the other in 4.5 hours.
Yeah, and by the way, that's just only 2 miles to get to Piccadilly Square, the 4 hour journey.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And Jessica, you get to always say I'm married to a clown, and it actually is true. How cool is that?
Yeah, I know, right? A lot of people don't believe me, but
and FC gets to say, and I'm married to a doctor. Like, I mean, that's a really good trait.
Exactly.
You guys are so tired of those jokes, and we've only been making them for an hour.
But yeah, we try and balance it too as well. Like particularly the last couple of years, who hasn't had this experience of feeling like actually, for people who've been working from home the last couple of years, of like actually it just bleeds into your whole entire life. And I think particularly if you're a married couple and you're working from home, like there've been times where we've realized we're working way too much, and so we've kind of consciously worked on carving out a bit of life around that more recently, which is good. It's healthy for us.
Well,
that's good.
Can we dig into that then as we elegantly segue into Leadership Corner? And I ask this question all the time. As I asked you this on a podcast earlier this week, you dodged me on it. What's on the playlist at the Barker Clown House? What is the music? Not what you sing. What is when you come in? What do you just feel like? Oh man, you know what? I need some blank right now, and just
so most commonly together is like 90s hip hop.
Yeah.
I can't say I saw that coming.
Little Belle
That's
Biv
the
DeVoe.
vibe.
BBD.
That's the most. That's the most common.
Yeah, I'd say for me it's early gangster rap is probably my but we listen to everything.
And I'm a bit more East Coast personally.
Oh,
East
okay.
Coast hip hop, so
Right.
East West.
We have an East-West thing going on.
Yeah.
This is some deep insight.
So we have
I
that
love
debate
it.
as well.
FC, throw a name out. Throw a group out.
Ice-T, NWA, you know, that they're what I grew up listening to.
I can hear the NWA song as you're rolling into the bank.
Yeah.
It's just like, here I
Hold
go.
on.
I'm walking in.
I got to give a shout out to David Carphone in Kentucky because they say 90s hip hop and EP's like Biv DeVoe, and Dave's out there like that's R&B, dude. Like, calm down.
That's not R&B.
Yeah.
Dude, that ain't 90s. All right, so if we're going to talk about this, I have to ask the question because I became a fan early on, and then they got really annoying. So Solid Crew, ever make any impression with you guys?
Not so much. No,
not really.
Not so much.
Not
Sorry,
Ms.
no.
Dynamite, Lisa Mafia, Asher D, none of that kind of. Look at me establishing my British hip hop bona fides right there.
Yeah. No, I think we're more American hip hop.
I know. I feel bad, right?
We used to get like bootlegged cassette tapes at school of
Nice.
Yeah,
gangster rap.
I think.
Yeah, you've told me that.
I think when we bring you back, you guys need to have a 30-second little rap that you guys provide for us on the air, and that will go viral, almost as hot and viral as Cygenta.
So do we share this? Do we share this?
Oh, boy.
Oh shit! Here we go.
We may have had a bit of a music competition at Cygenta a while ago.
Yeah, we did.
And
One of them was making a rap song.
one was it was just making a song, wasn't it?
Oh, yes,
But I chose to do a rap.
Yeah.
Is it
yeah,
public?
we've had a
Is
rap
it public?
off before.
It's
actually.
not coming. It's been
No,
a
it's not
while.
coming.
I need to work.
Well, you know what, Matt? We're going to have to
Work
break
on it.
into the clown's house, and we're going to have to find that piece of tape
Yeah.
that we can roll.
Notice they dropped that fact. With
It does
2.5
it
minutes
does
left in the
exist?
show.
Yeah, it does exist.
Oh. All right,
God.
real fast,
Uh-huh.
shameless plugs, both of you, individually and Cygenta-wise. Books, websites, social media, all the good stuff. Where can they find you?
Ooh.
So Cygenta.co.uk. We are, of course, on LinkedIn. So follow our company page on LinkedIn and on Twitter at CygentaHQ and on Instagram,
Instagram.
Everywhere.
Yeah, all of
everywhere
the-
you're
all of
getting
the
your
socials.
content, we're there.
What else? We've got the YouTube channels, which we've mentioned.
Yeah.
Jess has a books, 2 books.
Yep, Confident Cybersecurity, and I'm the co-author of Cybersecurity ABCs. You've got your book here.
Yeah, so sign up to the mailing list on Cygenta and you'll
Hear about that.
You'll hear about the book.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Here's a real
like, what
challenge.
else can we
What
plug?
else?
We've plugged. That's a
yeah,
lot. That's a
all-
lot,
all
right?
of
Look
them.
at
That's
that.
Right there,
that's
baby.
the
Award-winning #1 bestseller on Amazon.
Yeah, I'm Amazon bestseller, baby.
Going to be at any trade shows anytime soon? I can actually pick me up a copy in person.
Hopefully not.
Oh.
Oh, you mean? I mean, you meant for the books. I thought.
Yeah, we do a lot. We do a lot of events, but in-person ones, we're still getting back into that a little bit. So we're hoping to certainly be at more. We were
Yeah.
disappointed to miss RSA this year, to DEF CON this
Yeah.
year, but watch this space for next year.
I'm following
I'll
Cygenta.
shout out to Miko as well.
His book.
I got gifted this by our publisher. We
Wow.
share a publisher. So
Thank
that's
you, Miko.
just arrived.
I
Literally
arrived today.
So I'm going to try and consume this as soon as I can.
Mm.
All right, we are coming up at my 2 biggest takeaways from today. 1, marketing is the most important thing in cybersecurity because they keep bank robbers out of the thing by changing the logo before they can make fake badges. 2, there is nothing more charming on the planet than the way Dr. Jessica Barker says Twitter. EP, where can people find you if they're looking for you?
Well, and just I'm going to throw one more in there. Jessica, people are the problem. Like it. People can find me.
People
Epic
aren't
starts
the
with
problem. That's what she was saying.
Then they're not the
Have
problem.
you been on the show?
People are the problem. Oh, I caught that wrong. We'll have to wind the tape back. People, hey, I'm in sales. I don't listen.
From this?
Hey, I'm in sales. I don't listen. Read the book.
I'll come back.
Read the book.
We'll do this again, EP.
We will. Everyone can find me out there. Epic starts with EP, and find me on LinkedIn also, edwardpreston.ai, and all your security nightmares and headaches, Silver Sky. Find me at Silver Sky.
All of the great things. We've got at least a page and a half worth of things that we didn't even come close to getting to because it's too awesome talking to the guests about the things that they're talking about. That is it for today. Thank you again for tuning in on PM73 Media. I am going to ask everyone to go out to the PM73 Media podcast because we did a couple of movie reviews with these two loons, and they are delightful. We covered Sneakers and Enemy of the State, and they are absolutely brilliant. So please go check those out. In the meantime, all the other things, if you're looking for us, you know that you can find us at PM73 Media across all of the socials, as well as right here on LinkedIn every Friday at noon. Look for Edward's Dance Moves on TikTok. I think that's something that cannot be understated. Oh, yeah. And it's edwardpreston.ai, correct? Am I getting that right?
Epic starts with EP. That's where you're going to find my dance moves.
Oh, well, the dance moves, yes, but all the other things. My name is Matt Stevenson. You know, you can find me at PacMatt73 across all of the things. Podcast is out there for all the stuff. These are literally the coolest people I know, and I have been blessed by getting to meet a lot of really cool people. I love to be the dumbest, least cool person in the room, and I feel like I've achieved that today. So, yeah, man, check back next week. More lunacy to come. Thanks for coming out. Have a good weekend. We will see you next time.